just before sunset on May 25, 2003. Something extraordinary happened at an airport in Luanda, Angola. A large jet that had been sitting idle for more than a year suddenly began to move. Airport workers looked on in confusion as the aircraft slowly started taxiing across the tarmac. There was no scheduled flight, no passengers were boarding, and the control tower had not cleared the aircraft for departure. Air traffic controllers quickly tried to contact the cockpit. There was no response. Moments later, the situation became even more alarming. Without turning on its lights, and without communicating with the tower, the aircraft accelerated down the runway and lifted into the evening sky. Radar tracked the plane briefly as it headed southwest toward the Atlantic Ocean. Then the signal disappeared. No distress call was ever made. No wreckage was ever found. More than 20 years later, the fate of that aircraft remains one of aviation's strangest mysteries. This is the story of the stolen plane. The aircraft had a long history before that mysterious flight, built in 1975. The jet spent most of its working life flying passengers across the U.S. By the year 2000, the airline retired the aircraft from service. After retirement, the plane was sold to a company called Aerospace Sales and Leasing. Eventually, the aircraft found its way to Luanda, but instead of flying again soon, the jet remained parked at the airport for months. Dust slowly gathered on its body. Its engines remained silent. No flights were scheduled. The aircraft stayed there for 14 months. During that time, airport parking fees kept increasing. Reports later suggested that more than $50,000 in fees had gone unpaid. Meanwhile, technicians had already begun modifying the aircraft. All passenger seats had been removed. Instead of carrying people, the aircraft was being prepared to transport diesel fuel. There were also reports that its registration number might have been changed to a Nigerian registration. On the evening of May 25, 2003, unusual activity was noticed around the aircraft. Two men were believed to have boarded the plane. One of them was Ben C. Padilla, an American pilot. The other was John M. Mutantu, a mechanic from the Republic of the Congo. However, flying a Boeing 727 normally requires 3 qualified crew members. Neither were officially certified to operate the aircraft. Despite this, shortly before sunset, the engine suddenly started. Witnesses later reported that the aircraft moved somewhat irregularly, as if it was being handled by someone unfamiliar with its operation. Within moments, the aircraft began accelerating, without lights, without clearance. The Boeing 727 lifted off. Radar operators observed the aircraft heading southwest over the Atlantic Ocean. Soon after, the aircraft vanished from radar. The disappearance immediately triggered concern. The FBI launched an investigation, and aviation officials examined every lead. Several theories began to circulate. One possibility was that Ben Padilla had attempted to steal the aircraft. Another theory suggested the aircraft could have landed at a remote airstrip somewhere in Africa and been dismantled. 2 months after the disappearance, reports claimed that the aircraft had been spotted in Guinea, but the report was dismissed. The trail went cold once again. No definitive explanation emerged, and so the mystery remains unsolved. On May 25, 2003, an abandoned Boeing 727 took off from Luanda and vanished without a trace.